Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey,
Let's go.
Cool. You know, one of my biggest, the things I want to do in life, top of my bucket list, is write a book.
Okay. Dope.
That seems like such a unachievable goal. You know what I mean? To sit
Right.
down and write one seems so, impossible to do.
Right. Because it's time. You know what I mean? It's time. So the most valuable thing that you have to give to anybody in the world is your time. So if you take the time to write a book, you're giving out a gift. So if you want to do it, do it.
Did you want to be an author?
I'm gonna be honest. So the reason I started writing, so I was locked up, and I read this book. And in this book, the main character, he was a killer. You know what I mean? He went hard, but he was always just monotone. He was always mad. And I'm like, dang, that's not real. Like, you got dudes out here that, that get busy, but they still got they laugh and joke and all that. So it wasn't realistic to me. So I wanted to write a book more realistic. And that's what made me start.
How old were you?
I could do it better.
How old were you when you were locked up?
I was 23 when I first got locked up.
Okay. And you read the book? Do you remember what the book's called?
What was the name of the book? I can't remember. I know it was under Triple Crown. I can't remember the name of the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was 23 when I got locked up. I was about 25 at the time when I first 22, maybe about 27.
How long was your bid?
So I was originally sentenced to 25 years. For that, I did 19.
Really?
Yeah.
Salute, man.
Appreciate that.
Salute. And so when had you ever read, were you reading before that? Like before you got locked up, were you reading books?
Yeah. Like I used to read, I actually read 48 Laws of Power in the Streets. Yeah. I used to read.
So you were reading?
Yeah, I used to like to read. I was good in school. I liked the school. I was good in school.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're an author, so it makes sense. But the reason I'm asking is that one book, changed your life so much.
Actually, man, it's not even, that wasn't the catalyst. So, all right, just to give you a little back history. So, like I said, I was locked up for 20 years. And during that time, I had the time to learn myself. I had the time to figure out myself. So the catalyst was actually me learning myself. And then I got to sprout out and do so many things, including writing a book and so much stuff. But
yeah,
that was the real catalyst.
How did you think you were going to spend your time?
It's hard to say. Like at that moment, you're just trying to make sure everything is new. So it's not about how you're gonna spend your time; it's how you're gonna survive. Like I'm in the jungle now. Mm-hmm. I'm always been in the jungle. I've been in the streets since I was 12 years old. So I always been in the jungle. But this is a different environment. This is like a man-made environment. You got people from different areas that you never seen, different states. And you in a maximum security prison. I was a young little dude. I was maybe 150 pounds. So now it's survival. Now it ain't no guns. Now it's survival. Yeah. So it's not about how you're gonna do the bid for the moment. It's how you're gonna make sure you survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me see that lighter.
Oh shit! Let me plug my laptop in. I don't want that dying. I'll edit that out. I would have been so mad if I lost that, if my computer died. Because that is amazing how now you have 3 books.
Right.
And it's funny, you were telling me the story, and then you said you wanted to save it for the podcast, of how you were locked up with Beanie, and he helped you get into writing, or what was the...
when Beans first came in, I was writing Trust and Betrayal. So me and him got close while he was locked up, you know what I mean? And I was writing Trust and Betrayal. So I gave him a couple pages, like, nah, it's fire, you know what I mean? And, you know, this is my guy, so it's not something he'll say and then just brush it off. So he was telling me, you know, it's fire. So I ended up writing a book, and he ended up violating, so he came back. And when he came back, I'm like, yo, bro, I finished the book. And he like, yo, bring that joint, let me see that. So he read it. The next day he came back, he finished it. He was like, yo, it was crazy. And he was like, yo, it's crazy. What if the character would have did this? Or what if after that, you know, this happened? I'm like, yo, well, what the fuck? Let's do a part 2. He like, nah, I'm a rapper. You know, I ain't writing, I'm a rapper. I'm like, nah, let's do it, man. You could do it. So, long story short, after a bunch of talking junk to him and convincing him, we ended up putting the book together. And like, nah, that book right there is crazy.
Loyalty and Deceit?
Yeah, so Loyalty and Deceit is the sequel to Trust and Betrayal. Trust and Betrayal is loosely based on my life. It's loosely based on the life. It's a novel. It's based out of Rochester, New York. The sequel to that is Loyalty and Deceit, which is written by Beanie Siegel and I.
So you said you were 27 when you started Trust and Betrayal?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly, but somewhere around there.
How long did it take you to write?
Actually, I first started it, right? I wrote a lot, I stopped it, and then I rewrote it. I started again. So I'm gonna say when I started with the rewrite from the beginning to end, I probably finished that book in maybe a year, maybe 10 months to a year.
Oh, really? So you did it pretty quick.
That's quick.
I feel like a year. I didn't know if you were like. I feel like that means you're good with what you're doing. Because I feel like a lot of people would write in and be like, nah, fuck this, put it away. Like, no, you were working on it for like.
Yeah.
You don't think a year seems like a long time to you to write a book?
It's a few factors. Number one, I was in prison, right? Mm-hmm. And in prison, you can have idle time, but I chose not to, spend my time idly like that. So, you know what I mean? There was things I do, but I was able to dedicate, hours into it and go in deep on it. Yeah, I guess a year is good. I know dudes that could bang out books in like 6 to 8 months, but I feel like when I write, I'm colorful. Like the streets is live, the situations is live, and I want a person to, I want it to be like a visual movie. You know what I mean? When I write, like I want you to really see it. And that's one of the things I think that people like about my style of writing. Like I'm gonna bring it colorfully. It ain't gonna be he walked up to you and slapped you and you fell. No, it's gonna be some as he slowly approached you with the demeanor of death in his eyes. It'll get crazy. So.
Is that how your brain works?
It is. Even like with my clothes and designing, like I design all my clothes and I make I'm particular about that. You know what I mean? I get creative about that stuff.
But descriptive.
So. Yeah.
And that's how you always work.
Yeah, attention to detail. You know what I mean?
I think it's funny when like you find who you are. Like with me, like it makes sense I'm a podcaster because I'm questioning everything. Like I want to get to as you can tell, like I'll keep digging on a topic because that's who I am.
Yeah, I like
and
that.
That's how I always was, but I didn't realize how I could use that to benefit until later.
Right.
And I didn't if you always were descriptive like that, you found it later, but that's who you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. I guess I definitely I pay attention to detail. And that's one of the things that I'm imaginative, you know what I'm saying? I'm a Taurus, so and I'm left-handed, so that means I use the right side of my brain more. So I'm creative. I think that's what they say, something like that. But I'm very creative, and I like to express that.
Is that what a Taurus is?
Taurus is stubborn.
I'm a Cancer, and that's all. I only know about Cancer shit. You know what I mean?
Like Taurus, we stubborn. Like if we feel that we right, or if this is something that we're gonna do, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We ain't trying to hear nothing. We're gonna do it. And that right there, honing that in, is a definite plus. For succeeding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was your writing like? How did you writing process while being locked up?
I never learned how to write, as far as, novels or screenplays or anything like that. So I just started. Literally, whatever the first words is on the book is how the book starts and how it goes. Now I do go, of course I go in and I proof the book, but I just start. I don't believe in having a specific beginning or specific end. You could start a book today and then go back 10 years before and then catch back up, whatever, so my style is just, at the end of the day, it's like an artist when he just put on the headphones and go on the booth. I grab the pen, I go in, I think of a subject, and then I
With
could
a
go
pen,
in.
you would write it, you wrote it.
Yeah, everything was written in a pen and pencil, paper. I still got the original papers from them writing.
Real. What made you sit down and write that first sentence?
For the fact that I knew I could do better
Than now.
Yeah.
How long after you finished that did you start
Did I start what?
writing? Like how long after you
Have you
finished
finished the
that
book?
book did you think
I don't remember.
I need to start writing?
I don't remember. Remember I did 20 years. So
Yeah.
like
You try not to
I
feel-
not that I try not to. I don't really remember. Like so I remember reading the book and I remember the character. Like I said, the character was he was just one way the whole book, and I'm like, damn, that ain't the thing, and I could do better. So I felt I could do better, and that started it. And so, all right, the reason why I stopped and restarted, another one of the things, I went to the hole. When I went to the hole, a lot of my shit got fucked up, and property and paperwork, shit got crazy. So I restarted it, and once I restarted it,
What do you mean property and paperwork?
like when you go to the hole, when you go to the box in prison, you go to the box as you are at that moment. You know what I mean? Then all your property that's in your cell, that's got to be taken to the hole separately. It's got to go to the box separately. You don't get the shit. It goes into a property room, but it goes separately. And now that's in the hands of whoever packs it out, whoever ships it, so you don't know where your shit gonna end up.
So you lost.
Yeah, a lot of my stuff got just messed up. I can't remember exactly what happened. I can't remember exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Or did I was wilding. I might have flooded the cell, and I was terrible. So I might have flooded the cell and did some shit. I don't remember.
No, I feel, but that's, as you can tell, that is how my brain works. Is I do. Have you ever read the book The Alchemist?
The Alchemist. I remember that book. Damn, who was it by?
Paulo, I don't even know. It's about like the omens in life. It's about the guy, it's like following the omens you have in life that lead you to the path.
No, I didn't. I didn't read that.
I feel bad I don't know the name, but when I read that book, everything to me is like a path line. Like this happened to this, which is this.
Segways.
So that's why I really impressing you on that.
Dope.
Because that's how I see life. Because
Yeah.
it's like all this shit that I never thought, good and bad, would affect me when I was younger.
Right.
Ends up coming back either
Coming
good or
back.
bad today, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that, the cosmic energy.
I could dig it. Hell yeah.
It's
Nah.
fun. What were you saying?
No, I get it. So it's like segues. So everything is like a segue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I feel like
That's true.
I don't want to go down too many paths that
Yeah.
are wasted,
Alright.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I like it. I like the way it's going. I like it.
It's all right. So this is kind of a change of subject, but it's funny. You said Beanie was like, I'm a rapper. I'm not a writer.
Right.
What did you think you were before you were a writer? Like, what did you consider yourself?
A hustler. Just a hustler. All I knew was a hustle. Not just a drug dealer. Not just I was a hustler. I had different. I knew how to get money. So I knew how to hustle. That's why I consider myself like a hustler. You know what I mean?
Born with it?
Huh?
Born with it?
Oh, absolutely. Like my mother was in the streets. My pops was in the streets. My brother was one of the biggest drug dealers in the town. I was really born into it.
Yeah.
So this is all I knew. I was off the porch at 12 years old. At 12 years old, I'm in the club with grown-ups, heavy hitters. Preem, shout out to Preem, all the big boys. So I got pictures too. I'll give them so you can post them up.
But I'm talking about drive. Like, do you think people are born with drive, or do you think people find drive?
I think that it has to be installed in you, or you have to learn it, or you have to get it. So if you say you're born with it, I mean it's a DNA trait. So it's not. I don't think it's a DNA trait, but it's ingrained in you, right? So the grind comes from out of either a desperation or just the will to succeed. You know what I mean? That hunger. That's something that's got to come out of you. It's got to come from within you.
Mm-hmm. You have to make the decision.
Yeah, you definitely got to make the decision to grind.
Yeah. That's a decision that I think everyone has to make in their life, but some people, that's the people who are lost, is the people who are too scared to make that decision.
Right. Yeah, fear is a motherfucker, man. Fear, right? Fear can stop a lot of things, but the thing you have to understand fear. So every animal in the world experiences fear, right? A lion experiences fear. An elephant experiences fear. So who am I to not experience fear? But the key is you gotta know how to embrace your fear. Like me, if I fear something, that makes me go at it. It makes me it makes me conquer it. It makes me, whether I'm aggressive, however it is, if I get to the point to where I fear something, I conquer it. And fear should inhibit action. So you should learn how to embrace it, and you channel that energy, and now you conquer it. Fear don't mean run. Fear means, fear is only a possibility. Fear is the thought of something going wrong, but it's the thought. It's not that it happened. When you fear something, you only thinking about what could possibly go wrong. So it's not a reality.
And the more you run away from it, that's where anxiety comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Anxiety, your fear builds. Now your fear comes in a terror or fright. And, those things is harmful for you. So you have to conquer that fear quickly. You got to annihilate that shit.
How did you get the books published?
I created my publishing company while I was in prison. Yep.
How does one do that? How did you do that?
Oh, it was the hardest thing in the world. I went to the box mad times over that. I went.
Over because of it?
Hell yeah. So my company is C.H.A.O.S. C.H.A.O.S is an acronym for creating history amongst our society.
I found this on the web.
So.
They always listen.
Right. They always listen. Y'all seen that shit?
We're already recording a podcast. Just listen to the podcast later.
Yeah,
give me the view, Apple.
That's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely. Shit.
Apple should just give me the view.
Cut the check, Apple. Yeah. But yeah, while I was... All right, so when I wrote the book, when I finished writing the book, I had sent it to a publishing company. And the publishing company sent me a letter back. One sent me a letter back saying, like, we're good right now and we'll contact you later. Another one sent me a letter back saying that they want it, and they will give me a royalty off of it. And I can't remember what it was. It was like, man, I don't remember. Books was going for $15 a book, and they wanted to give me like 80 cents a book or something like that. And I'm like, oh, no, like, I've been a boss my whole life. There's no way in the world I put in all this right here to... You know what I mean? To get 80 cents a book. So at that moment, I said, yo, you know what? Nah, I got to continue to boss up. I got to learn how to get my book out there in the streets. But my only problem is I'm in motherfucking federal prison. Maximum security prison. How can I make this happen? And that's where thinking outside the box came into play. So after thinking outside the box, long story short, I created S Corporation.
Don't make long story short. Make long story long.
So I studied. I learned. All right. So in order to have a publishing company, the first thing you need a business. All right. So I need a business. I got the information on how to, create a different business. I learned on different businesses, LLCs, S Corporation, C Corporation, so on and so forth. Learned which business I would think would be more applicable to me, and then I got the paperwork to get it in. I got the paperwork in, start, going through the process of filling it out.
And you're making your address?
My address is in the streets. I'm using my address in Rochester. So even at this time, I was in Pennsylvania. but my address is in the streets. My business, my corporation is a New York corporation. It's not a Pennsylvania corporation. I didn't choose to be in this prison. My corporation don't need to be here. Your corporation is its own entity. So your corporation.
But I'm asking, how do you get your paperwork? How, like, literally, how are you setting up this LLC?
Well, I'm getting the paperwork like through my family. I'm having my family to send me the paperwork. So I tell my mom to go on to this, to get this paperwork and send this to me. I fill it out, send it back to her. You know what I mean? So it's all going through postal mail.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And after I get incorporated, then I had to learn on how to get books manufactured. So one of my mentors, he was from India, and he helped me get my books manufactured. Like, he helped me find places and all that. So I'm grinding up at this time. I mean, this is thousands of dollars. I'm in the feds, so I got to hustle to get this money together to print these books, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do all this stuff and still not go to the hole, but and find out how to get a business. There's no one.
And you're not supposed to be doing this?
No, nah, you're not supposed to. Well, so one of the things I beef with the feds about, they was beefing with me because I was running a business, right? So my argument, number one, basically in layman terms, all right, so Martha Stewart, she went to the feds. Ja Rule, they went to they didn't give up their businesses. So what's the difference between me and them? So what I found out was that you're allowed to own a business, you're just not allowed to run the day-to-day operations. You know what I mean? So I found out that I could just give suggestions. So say if I'm on the phone and a bookstore wants 40 books, and I tell my peoples, yo, man, it'd be a good idea. I suggest you call this bookstore and see what they want, because they might get 40 books. Now that I could beat the charge.
That's stupid as fuck.
It's stupid as fuck.
That's stupid. Why?
It's a whole nother subject. Prison is designed to keep you, prison is horrible. Prison is...
Like, think about how hard, I mean, you were in it, but right. For people listening, think about how hard it is to do what you did, and then they're like, nah, fuck that. Like, you're trying to do good shit. You're trying to fucking publish books and shit.
Oh, yeah. No, it was crazy. Like I said, they was harassing me and, you know what I mean, search me, taking stuff from me, giving me write-ups, trying to send me to the hole over this shit. It's a lot, because the problem is, at that moment, right, they realized that I made a decision to become greater than my circumstance. So when you make a decision to become greater than your circumstance, especially that circumstance, you're a threat. You know what I mean? You're not conforming. You're not being mentally broken. So that's a whole nother thing, man. But
mentally broken. That's what it's for. It's to mentally break you. That's prison.
Of course. Come on. All right, so you a male. All the things that you're enjoying right now, you got a blunt in your hand, you got a sweater that you chose, some jeans, your sneakers, your headphone. Yeah, and you get none of that. Whatever's in your pocket, you have none of that, right? You're put in an alternate environment. You're put in a place that you've never been, around people that you've never been, and you have to do things you've never done. Eat the food you've never eaten at a time that you don't have to. Everything you're told to do. So as opposed to you being your own man, now you're part of a system. You know what I mean? You're taught that you're no longer a man. You're an inmate. You're an inmate this, inmate that. So that alone should be mentally disturbing. You know what I mean? And you know,
top of when you go in working as slave labor, you're making
you're making $5.25 a month, right? So $5.25 a month. So one soap costs $3.
And you can't have a business on the outside.
Yeah, you can't run a business. You can't. You know what I mean?
So you said a soap was...
No, just say a soap $3 and a toothpaste is $4. You got $5.25. So this month you're gonna get a soap. Next month you're gonna go get a toothpaste. You know what I mean? That's if you don't have no way of hustling or no family to depend on.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot of underlying factors that prison, you know, that it's a lot of underlying factors involving or regarding prison that people don't really look at. All right, person go to jail and this, but it's a lot of things revolving. Like, you got to be a real strong dude to survive prison. You know what I mean? You got to be real tough. You gotta be have a thick skin, black heart. You gotta have compassion. You gotta have everything. You know what I mean? And know when to turn it up, especially to leave unscathed. You know what I mean? Like, I left, you know, as a man, I didn't turn gay. I didn't turn, no offense, I didn't switch,
yeah.
turn gay. I didn't turn rat. I didn't switch religion or change religion. Then get involved in gang. All these things people do, for protection. And I'm from upstate New York. This is where you know what I mean? You ain't from Brooklyn, you ain't from, I'm from upstate New York. This is what's up, you know what I'm saying? So it's a different thing. It takes a lot of strength to be able to handle, 20 years of war, 20 years of war. Every day is war. Every day. You don't get no rest on that shit.
And on top of that, you're doing everything else.
And on top of that, I'm doing my thing. And I'm doing my thing. So.
There was no way you wouldn't.
Huh?
There was no way you wouldn't do your thing.
I don't feel like I could be
You know what I
broken.
mean
like,
by
I'm
that?
tough.
Yeah.
I'm tough. I know that I can handle the elements. Now, I didn't want to be in this. This is not what I chose, but wherever I go, I have to stand on these 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? So with that right there, a lot of respect was given to me, you know what I mean? By saying like, yo, this dude he ain't soft, he ain't he ain't dumb, he ain't, just in the way. So, yeah.
So did you publish all 3 while?
No, I published Trust and Betrayal while I was incarcerated. I published Loyalty and Deceit while I was incarcerated. I published Condom when I was released. Okay. But we did a book release party for me and Beans. I brought Beans to Rochester. We did a book release party for that when I came home. Yeah, it was dope.
What did you want to do? Like, is that what you wanted to do when you got released?
Yeah, I wanted to definitely. I wanted to push my, get my visions out here to the streets, get my craft out here to the peoples.
And how did how did your clothing line get?
That's crazy, right? Like I did 20 years and I got a clothing. Like, what the hell is that? It's supposed to be some velour, baggy sweatsuits or something.
But you know what I mean? We've only talked about this because I'm very interested in you as an author, but that's only like a very small part of it, you know?
Nah, it's crazy, man. I'm in all kind of stuff, man. We ain't even graced the cover yet. We're gonna do a part 2 so y'all know.
We can keep going.
Unless we keep going, it's whatever.
We can keep going. I want to cover all of it.
All right. Nah, it's
And can I see the light?
Yeah. Y'all see that I almost stole his lighting.
Everyone's it's all good. We're at Exotic Roots.
Yeah,
I'll get another light. Shout out Mark.
Shout out to my boy Mark, man.
Mark knows he's a conduit. He knows how to bring people together.
Yeah, great dude, man. Great dude. From the moment I was introduced to him, the moment we met, like we just clicked. You know what I mean? He liked the clothes. He was
So he found out about you through clothes.
Yeah, well, a good friend of mine introduced us at an event, and he had bought a sweater at that moment. And then from there, I called him again. He like, yo, I rocked that sweater. It was fire. You got some more? I'm like, yeah, I got you, man. So, and we just linked up and just been cool ever since.
He shows love like no other. He just hit me up on Instagram one day like, I fuck with your podcast. I fuck with what you're doing. You should come by sometime. And this was before anything.
Yo, we about to do some fire, man. We about to do some fire stuff together. Mark Official, man. We going to put some fire together. We going to get this thing popping.
All right, so tell me how you got into the clothing.
So I always wanted to wear clothes. In prison, you only allowed to have certain things, you know what I mean? You're given tan outfits, you're allowed to have gray sweatsuits. So that's it, tan outfits, gray sweatsuits. Now I like it to be different. So I wish you could have pictures in this joint. I'm gonna send you some pictures. I get my clothes customized. I have on all white, you know what I mean? I have Prada shoes on. I have some Air Maxes from the streets. I just different. So I always loved style. I always wanted,
you had those on locked up.
Yeah, while I was locked up. Man, shout out to my boy Spesh. He had a verse that said, ain't nothing you could tell Spesh. I was in jail fresh, Prada shoes, Gazelle specs. I got pictures with Prada shoes and Gazelle specs in prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love fashion. I love clothes. I love good stuff. You know what I mean? So,
How did you find that in your life?
Shooting the streets. Like before I got arrested, you know, I was in the streets. So I was always in the fashion then. Always like clothes then. Always was a fly dude then.
But when did you want to create a brand? Like have it be like not just dress fly, but like no,
just had
this
a brand.
Yeah.
I just had a vision. I was like watching shows in jail, like BET Awards, and seeing what they wearing, and you be like, damn, that shit fire. All right, if they did this or that. Like I'm the type. Once I think like that, I start thinking further and further, and so I just started doodling, and this the first design I made.
Really?
Yeah, this the first one. I still
That's
got
an iconic fucking logo.
Thank you, bro. This the first one I made. I still got the paper where I drew it. I still got the paper for this where I drew it on. So I drew this right here, and I drew a couple more things. My logo. I got my logo on here. No, it's on the back, but the flame logo.
Yeah.
I drew those up and a few more things, and luckily I was able to get out. I'm still supposed to be in prison. I was sentenced to 25 years in prison. I came home after 19 because the drug laws changed. So that got me immediate release. I was arrested for distribution of crack. So long story short, the crack to powder, it was 100-to-1 crack to powder ratio. I was sentenced to 25 years, 20 years for the drugs, 5 years for the gun. The Obama administration reduced the 100-to-1 crack to powder ratio to 15-to-1, but it didn't make it retroactive, meaning if you got arrested from 2011, then you would get a shorter sentence than what I would have gotten. But since I got arrested in 2000, it didn't apply. In the Trump administration, they made it retroactive. Then I got to apply to the courts. So I had to file a motion for my freedom. I filed the motion. My motion was granted, and I came home in 2019. So I didn't even know I was coming home.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know I was coming home for probably like 30, 45 days before I came home. I didn't even know. That's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
All this time I'm doing, my mindset.
You think you have 6 more years?
Yeah, well, let's see, because I lost most of my good times, so I would have came home with halfway house 2024. I got arrested in 2025. I probably would have got a year halfway house. I would have came home 2024. But I'm going to tell you some crazy shit, right? So the judge, he sentenced me to 25 years. The amount of drugs I got charged with I got charged for selling a dude a 62, right? And the hood is called a 62. That's 2 1/4 ounces. That weighs about the weight of a half a bar of soap. You give me 25 years for that. You knew that your bills every month exceed that amount of money that I'm about to make on this right here. Then I come home, and within 3 years, I got a gold card with no limit. I got everything that, how the credit card company feel that I'm worth more than the judge? They spent $700,000 on keeping me arrested. I came home with nothing, and I made magic happen in a few years. But these are the minds that they're keeping locked up.
And the crack to powder, the 100, that's because of just racist laws in the beginning.
Absolutely.
It's the same fucking thing. Why is it even 15-to-1's
right.
crazy?
It's crazy, man.
Like, why? That shouldn't be a thing. Those laws were put in place because coke was a fucking white drug.
Right.
Like, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's all this. It's just a lot to it, right? So they have, they have to have the prisons, right? The prisons is what has the cheapest labor. So these things, you got Unicore, and they make products for companies. You know what I'm saying? And you also have to have a way to handle the politics. So the politics thing is tough on crime, and you also have to. Well, not you also have to, but what they do, they also have mass incarceration for people of color, right? So, long story. All right, so you want me to get into it?
I do.
All right, so mass incarceration, how it came about. It came about back in the 60s, right? So we blacks we were in the process of leveling the playing field, right? We were able to get jobs at manufacturing companies like Ford, and we were able to get equal education and things like these. These things was putting us in a good position. So now, we got set back. We got set back one with the heroin. The heroin hit us, boom. That set us back. We shook that off. Then they came and they hit us with a nuclear bomb. They hit us with the crack. They brought that in. That took us back 30 years. Now you got, a lot of the things that transcends from it today. But it's the mass incarceration is just fueled, man. It's fueled by the politics, and it's incarcerating us at a disproportionate rate that shouldn't be. Out here, we represent, I want to say, less than 15% of the population. And prison is over 60% of the population.
Yeah, it's like 12% of the population.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these things, we got to look into the reason why. And not even just look into it, but we got to go hard on changing that, because it ain't fair. It ain't right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got real smart dudes that really don't get a chance. And the crazy thing, not to get off subject, but look at a hustler, right? So you can look at a kid on the street. If you just drive by, just say you drive down Jefferson Avenue, right? And you see this kid, and he's got a hoodie on, right? And he got some drugs in his pocket. So you say, yo, it's a drug dealer. But to that kid, it's not, that drug ain't just drugs. It's a means to an end. You know what I mean? He might have a single mother who's on drugs and a little sister at home, and she's got to eat. So that's the food for his little sister. And now you got kids like that, and these kids, right, you understand they're entrepreneurs. They their own bosses. They don't got nobody to report to. They get their stuff. But the things that they're learning, so they're learning counts and balances, shipping and receiving, packaging, marketing, advertising. They're learning this shit hands-on in the streets. And they working from fucking 6 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the morning every day. You telling me that IBM wouldn't want a motherfucker with that type of passion, with that type of drive, and that's willing to risk their life? They're risking their life out there for a couple of dollars. So you telling me that they can't teach and nurture and get a kid with that much passion and turn them into something special? That's why we go so hard. That's why dudes from the inner city that get that shot, man, we go so hard because we know what we done risked our lives for nearly nothing. You know what I mean, in comparison. So, it's a lot of diamonds in the rough at the end of the day. It's a lot of diamonds in the rough. And if people start looking at it in that manner, then we'll start to change the way we view these kids out here in the streets and give them a chance.
Because we were talking about making the choice. People who are given don't need to make the choice, so then they never make it for their own, and they don't see that in other people because they're scared of making that for themselves.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It's true, man. And at the end of the day, don't be consumed by the fear.
Yeah. So you 45 days, 30 days before getting released didn't know you were?
Nah, I ain't know.
How was finding out? How'd you find out?
I found out I was eligible. No. In December, okay, so I can tell you exactly how long. December 19th, they passed the bill. December 19th, 2018, they passed the bill. I seen it on CNN. But we didn't know to the extent, so nobody was really, really happy. In January, we found out what was going on. February, I found out I was eligible. Once I found out I was eligible, it was different. I was like, oh, shit, it's real. I'm really going to... No. February, I found out I was going to get it. And I came home in March. Yeah, February. Now it's like, it's real. But damn, my whole mind is like, damn, this all I know is this place right here.
19 years.
19 years in this place right here. But then that street shit came out. Man, fuck this place. Get out of here. Let's figure this shit out. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's been dope for me, man. You gotta understand, like, before I left, it was pagers. We had pagers. Yo, beat me. I come home, ain't no buttons and none of that shit.
Was that wild? Big change?
The only good thing is I had a cell phone in prison. If I wouldn't have had a cell phone in there and access to it, then I would have really, really been fucked up. But I had access, so that helped a little bit. But as far as it take like emails and doing all kind of other stuff. Nah, all that stuff was experience. The things that y'all would take for granted, a metal fork, a leaf on the ground. Like, you know, it's, when you behind the wall, when I started, I was in the max, you behind the wall, ain't no trees in there, ain't no leaves. So the small little simple things you don't never see.
Yeah.
So I used to just, I don't know, I was a kid in the candy store. Everybody used to always want to be around me because I used to bug out over every little thing. I used to treat everything like it was crazy. I still do to a degree.
Isn't that, but it's happening. Like people, you say
Yeah.
people want to be around you like you're a kid in the candy store.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
People want to be around you when you're happy, like
yeah.
even no matter what it is. But I think on a
energy.
larger, big scale, that's true too.
Yeah, it's energy. You know, everybody, you know, attracted to good, or you should be attracted to good energy. You actually have people that's attracted to energy, but yeah, good energy, you know, you always want that around you. I do.
And you know, we never did talk about how you started the clothing.
Oh, shit. So that's how this podcast goes.
That's how that
I see how this shit
second
goes.
part of the podcast started.
Y'all get me high as a motherfucker, knowing I'm going to trail off all the time, and then say, oh, this where we at. All right.
No, this has been great.
I'm feeling it. What was that again? Say it again.
The clothing. How did you get into the clothing?
Okay, so yeah, I was just drawing. So I was drawing my images and doodling things and saying one day I'm gonna do it. And when I came home, I started off with the books and everything, and I took a little bit. I started with just some T-shirts, and I took them to my block. Yo, what up, man? I'm starting my clothing line. What up? Need y'all help. Need y'all support. Whole block copped everything. I went and read up. It's just like the streets. Went and read up with more, cop some more. Read up some different colors. Yo, I got these new covers. Went and checked to see what color Jordans was coming out. Hey, yo, y'all know them blue Jordans coming out. Yo, I got the blue C.H.A.O.S T-shirts coming out. Y'all make sure y'all cop them joints. Y'all pre-order right now. You can get $5 off. And I just kept grinding. They don't know, you know what I mean? They don't know I got to get every penny of this right here. I need it at this time. I'm broke.
And that's what you're talking about before all that shit you knew.
Yeah. What you mean? Before what?
You were saying a young kid hustling, he learned to has all these talents, and now you're saying you're using that exact same thing for clothing.
Exactly.
You had the drive. You knew how to work it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, in prison, I learned how to apply what I learned. Like, so the way I just gave you that I don't know if you call that a knock. Got your lighter. Damn, I said I was gonna keep his lighter next time, huh? Get him next time.
I'm gonna be watching back on the episode and be like,
I know it. He got it right there.
Lighter.
Juma, give me my lighter back, man.
You really want the llama lighter?
Oh, he got a long one, man. No, but what I was about to say,
you were talking about applying. You learned how to apply.
Right, I learned how to apply what I learned, right? So I'm in the feds, right, with dudes who, so my mentor, he didn't have his first pair of shoes.
Dude from India?
Yeah.
Okay, so you met him, all right.
Yeah, so I met him, and, you know, he's super dope dude. But he didn't have his first pair of shoes till he was like 2 years old. You know what I mean? You know, living in poverty for real, like not our poverty, in real poverty. And he was worth nearly $500 million when he got arrested. He was younger than me. So you telling me, and I'm doing all this time for a couple of bands, you doing your time for almost $500 million of what you worth, and you still going home to that bread. I need to learn from people like this. So I started, at that moment, I realized I had to surround myself with people who was much smarter than me. You know what I mean? Like, me being the smartest person in the room ain't work.
Yo,
It's the facts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being the smartest person in the room got me right there.
I want to be the worst person. I want to be like, you know what I mean? The least talented person in the room I'm in, because then I have something to work towards.
Right. If you're the smartest person in the room, homie, you in the wrong room. Get out that room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So I always say, you know, you got to be mindful of your friends, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be around people who soar like eagles. Like, you never seen a eagle associated with the pigeons, you know what I mean? Or fly down to the pigeons. I got to be with the eagles, or with the snakes that slither amongst the ground. I got to be amongst the eagles.
My dad's a musician, And he used to say this thing. I don't play music, but he always said, "You're only as good as your worst player."
Word. And that's the truth.
And that's the truth. When I build a team, that's what I mean. I want to be the least talented
Right.
person on the team.
And if
I don't care if I'm the one who's like
That's right.
leading the team.
But you
I'm
know
the,
where that
exactly.
threshold is at. You know
Exactly,
what I mean?
because
But nah, don't.
it's like
at the
dating.
same
It's
time,
like
though,
dating someone who's like low down. It's like no. Why wouldn't? Don't you want to have someone who's inspiring you?
But I mean, nah. At the same time, though, nah. Don't be the one at the bottom of the joint.
All right, you know what I mean.
I ain't gonna
You
be
know
at
what
the
I
bottom.
mean, though. You know what
at the bottom. We got I'm trying to be at the hierarchy, but you still like.
No, I
nah,
don't
I'm
mean.
just
I mean, I don't want to be at the bottom, but I mean, talent-wise,
Right.
I want to work with people
Yeah.
who are. All right.
People
Let's
who
say
you admire,
as
or
driven as
people-
mine.
Right. Yeah, that's
People
right.
who've made the decision. I
Yeah.
don't want to work with people who are holding themselves
Right.
back.
There you go. Yep. I agree. You gotta, get, like you said, get people. If a company hires somebody, then they go through the application process. They see if they qualify for it. If a person is going to be down with your movement, then they got to be qualified. All the friends and family stuff that can't work if you don't have the qualifications. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you got to have people that you admire, that admire you, that's driven by you. It's like when you're working out, you got somebody to push you, or you could push them.
Yeah.
That's what creates it. You know what I mean? You gotta have that. You gotta have that.
But this is what I mean by I feel like you have to be the lead. It's because no one's gonna follow your dream like you are. Like
Right.
if you're not putting your all into it, then why the hell would anyone else help you with it?
But don't count on nobody to follow your dream. Follow the movement. Follow the movement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ain't gotta understand my dream. Nobody knew my dreams or understood my dreams. Ain't nobody understand it, and I couldn't expect nobody to. So I don't need you to follow the dream, but you follow the movement. Now it's a different story. Now it's about what's that movement is about. What is your movement about?
Yeah.
So
What is your movement?
my movement, man, is to my movement is basically I want to represent everything that embodies our culture. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to highlight and showcase everything that's involved in what I know. So I know the city. I know these things. I write it in books. I display it through my clothing. I write it in my movie scripts. And I want to represent. Our culture right. And when I say culture, like the whole culture, hip hop culture, in its entirety. I'm a child of hip hop, like for real. Sugar Hill Gang getting beat for scratching up the record. You know what I'm saying? And still going to try another one and recording over tapes and stuff like that. So I love hip hop and our culture is dope. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what it is.
To go back to the clothing a little bit, how did you link up with 38 to do his merch and everything? Trust Station, right?
Yeah, so that we did a couple collabos. We did the C.H.A.O.S hoodies, and Wheeling. That's always been my guy. That's been little bruh since before I got locked up, and just letting y'all know, he's a real one. Like he sent pictures, and you know what I'm saying, through the whole bit. Like it was, yo, bruh, I need some pictures. You know what I'm saying? Man, I got you. And through his pictures that he sent me, he showed me how big the world was. Now remember, this is a kid from the block. Special was on the block at a young age. He was a kid. When I left, he was on the block, literally on the block. And now he's sending me pictures all around the world. And so it's like, it's dope. And then I call him, no matter what, he picking up the phone and he pushing fire. Yo, what up, bro? Yeah, I'm chilling, man. And he letting me know. So that gave me inspiration too. That gave me a lot of inspiration to say, damn, okay, if I could, as long as I push and play my part, the vehicle is in motion. You know what I mean? So I come home, I start the T-shirts, and we just kicking it, man. We kicking it. I'm like, yo, let's do a collabo. He like, bet, let's work. And we sat down and we created the concept of the hoodies. Decided to make it a limited production run, and yeah, we put them out, and it was a good success.
They're amazing. I think
Thank
are there some? I'm pretty sure there might be some.
Yeah, we got them. We got a few more at Exotic Roots. Y'all pull up
Roots.
Exotic Roots and get y'all exclusive Trust Chaos hoodies. You know what I mean? They numbered up. So each one, yeah, they individually numbered, all embroidery, great quality. Yeah, we coming hard with them.
What do you see yourself as now? Like you said, you wrote screenplays, author, clothing. Like, what do you consider yourself now?
It's Juma. It's Juma. I'm multifaceted. It's hard to explain. Like,
You're you.
right? You know what I mean? You ever seen like like if you had a little puppy in a cage, a dog in a cage, and then when you let him out, he just run all over everywhere? That's how I am with it. Like, I'm in everything. I got male enhancement line. I got man, just
Male
so much.
enhancement line.
Yes. Oh yeah. Shout out my male enhancement line.
I don't even know what that is.
www.thebedroombliss.com. All natural male enhancement. Man, listen, if you want to get busy naturally, you ain't got to worry about no heart racing when you're done, no headache, none of that. You want to take it down. Or ladies, if your man ain't doing like he used to be doing, www.thebedroombliss.com. Guaranteed. Natural pills. I'm going to get you some to watch. Watch it. I'm going to tell y'all, too. I'm going to tell y'all.
I'll do a review.
Yeah, do the review. But yeah, so I'm just in a,
I did not expect that to be the... What other crazy businesses?
Man, just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. We got a lot, man. It's a lot. Like, my mind is, it goes, and right now I'm just working on catching up to it, but I make sure that...
Because you've done a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah, almost 3 years, about 3 years.
Almost. So not even 3 years.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, it's free. And I was also sentenced to 10 years post-supervised release. They reduced it to 8 years when I got home. But I filed a motion. I had to file my own motion pro se, and I got terminated from probation early. So now I'm completely off probation. Yeah, they ain't want me smoking in the feds, but now I can smoke. Give me that light.
Congratulations. Is that why you got your low tolerance?
Yeah,
he's like, yo, I got a low tolerance.
Yeah, this guy rapping Keith with Boom Rock. Hell no. I would have been on this interview. So Juma.
Man, thank you for coming on. This is a dope-ass conversation. There is something about Rochester. I had never been here until, like a year and a half ago on some real shit.
Where you from?
I'm from Massachusetts.
Oh, shout out to Massachusetts. Yo, man, I was in the feds, yo. There's some real dudes out in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Boston. Yeah, y'all
You ever hear a place, Fitchburg?
Fitchburg. Yep. There was a couple dudes locked up from there, too.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah, y'all be doing that white collar grime out there. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, that's not Fitchburg. You know who OT the Real is? You ever hear of a rapper?
OT the Real.
White dude.
Yeah.
Raps from Philly, raps about meth and shit. He's fire. But he's originally from Fitchburg. And he was the fucking stick-up kid of Fitchburg.
Oh, word.
He's been on the podcast.
Fire.
But yeah, he's literally like...
I'm going to check my band out some more then. Okay, that's dope.
Yeah, nah, he's fire.
Nah, that's dope.
I'm from there. I literally got in like 30 minutes before this podcast.
Fresh off the highway, my man came and sat down and did it.
I went to the wrong hotel. My hotel was 30 minutes the opposite way. I was so mad, bro.
You better be
I had a disgusting ass Subway sandwich.
Make sure you use your navigation around here. They don't be playing fair. Be careful.
I do love Rochester.
No, Rochester's dope, man. Rochester fun, man. It's they call Rochester the Lost Borough. You know what I mean? They call Rochester the Lost Borough. And it's because even though it's upstate New York, it ain't slow. You know what I mean? It ain't slow. So it's all right.
Man, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the interview, man. It was a pleasure.
This is dope as hell. This has been Bucked Up. Where can people find you?
Y'all can find me at This thing got me high as a bitch. Y'all can find me at C.H.A.O.S Unlimited. You know what? I just told you I just came home. So I'm going to give y'all my Instagram. Hold on. I know they're on your podcast like, yo, you got this high-ass mother.
And it's called Bucked Up. What do you think? It's called
so I'm
Bucked
repping
Up.
this shit right.
Dude, I'm high as hell, too.
Say that
I've been
shit.
smoking. I probably smoked a quarter today.
Oh. Hey, yo, I'm smoking some shit. This shit good.
Yeah, this shit is fire.
Purple Runs I'm smoking.
Oh, really? I'm smoking some shit Mark gave me. That's fire.
That's who gave me this shit. Mark,
Yeah.
Mark
And I'm going to read your books. Hey, I'm going to hold your books up while you find your Instagram.
All right.
We got Trust and Betrayal. We got Loyalty and Deceit with Beanie Siegel. And we got Condom. Yeah, we didn't even talk about really you being cellmates with Beanie.
Oh, that was crazy. Like, that's a whole nother interview how we linked up. Like, that's a real dude right there, man. Shout out to my man, Beanie Siegel, man.
Something we didn't. People are going to be so mad, though.
Yeah,
We didn't even talk about that.
That's going to be crazy. Yo, my Instagram is C.H.A.O.S Unlimited 1. C.H.A.O.S Unlimited, the number 1. Follow me, y'all.
Follow him. This has been Bucked Up. Peace out.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,